Welcome back, everyone. So, we got a fun story for you because ostensibly it looks like EA are rebranding a studio, but actually it's quite a bit more, and it could be well, it seems pretty likely, the efforts of a certain Vince Zampella, and, well, maybe him having a bit of a personal quest to make things be a little bit less shitty in and around EA. Now, DICE LA, they were involved, well, basically, they were support studio for DICE most recently. They made the crime Battlefield game that nobody really asked for or wanted and was just sort of like, in its reception. But they are actually a studio with really crazy DNA. Before this, they were well, way back, they were DreamWorks LA, I think. Then they were Danger Close for 12 years. Danger Close worked in games such as Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle-earth, a personal favorite, but you'll probably know them from the Medal of Honor franchise, right? And what happened with them, of course, was EA's big plan. Battlefield 1 year, Medal of Honor the other year, Battlefield the other year, but Medal of Honor Warfighter was shit. And then so that studio went, and that studio at that sort of point in time had also got a whole bunch of Westwood people. You know, Westwood, like they did Command and Conquer, and they were also a little bit ran into the ground by EA. I mean, Westwood's one of the reasons why people, you know, they got flashbacks to Westwood whenever, of course, you know, we all heard about Visceral whenever they were going down. But basically, all this stuff ended up merging into DICE LA, and DICE LA pretty much have been playing second fiddle to DICE. They were just helping out with Battlefield games. Now, around last year, we heard that Vince Zampella was working with DICE LA. And this was in that period of time where Laura Meal, or Melee, whatever you pronounce her name, who's the general studios officer of EA, when she was talking about basically learning from Respawn and changing up their approach to doing games. So now we have this studio, DICE LA, rebranding. And it's rebranding to Ripple Effect Studios. But it's more than just that, though, because as well, of course, as the support on Battlefield 2142 that they're also doing something new. And I think to give you a little bit of an idea of their vibe, at Ripple Effect Studios, we believe that true transformation of the games industry begins with small moments, like an enlightening conversation in a hallway or a prototype yielding unexpected results. And I bring that up, actually, because it was a lot of that prototype and sort of game jammy first development, actually getting functional gameplay prototypes early to find the fun. That's something that Respawn really focused on. And it absolutely blew my mind that whenever Laura Mealy was doing those, just sort of that, you know, junket of interviews last year, that it seemed like that wasn't a thing that was massively done at the likes of BioWare, which, honestly, I mean, I just could not fathom. I mean, with Anthem, I suppose we did get the impression that it had lots of cool technology tests, but not a lot of, you know, it being a full video game, you know, like the early gameplay tests that really seems like Respawn would have been doing. So, we know that Vince ended up doing some work with DICE LA, and now, well, quite a lot has came from that. As I go into this, in addition to overseeing Respawn Entertainment, Respawn founder Vince Zampella is also managing Ripple Effect. So there you go. Basically, Vince is he's managing, or I suppose co-managing with this other guy. Not a new studio, but a rebranded studio that now is working on its own game. And it says here, we're excited to look towards the future, expand the team, and establish our own identity. Which I think this all means to say, they're no longer DICE. They might do some support, but they're not DICE LA anymore. So, what do you think this means?
I think this is incredible news, but mostly because I feel like it's the end of an era. It's the end of an era where all of these companies, I mean, Activision are still doing it like each and every day to the detriment of God knows what, but it's the end of we have all of this talent and we're going to congregate it all working on these too big to fail games. That's what it feels like, because DICE LA, they've been support on basically everything for so long, but now them being able, like Vince going over to them and going, right, you're my lads now, let's go get some cracking stuff done. You know, let's take all the approaches that worked super well for us with Respawn. Let's, you know, prototype games really quickly. Let's get them all going. Let's have some fun stuff on the go. I mean, especially if they're FPS specialists, you know, there's definitely room for an FPS in EA's kind of general thing. that's not Apex and isn't also Battlefield. Like there's room for that stuff in the market. So the idea that they're no longer going, Battlefield needs everyone on, like, all hands on deck all the time to make the game, I think that implies that one of the biggest problems with AAA games is finally being solved, which is production. I think that's my general read, is now that they're doing this with prototype first stuff coming along, they're taking the time necessary to actually do what players want, instead of the, just make it and hope for the best. It's now, we'll start from a good position, get our production in order, and I mean, that's actually what they go into. Like, that's what gives me hope reading over this stuff, because it is like, where is it at here? Yeah, it was them saying something along the lines of they want to excel at everything. They want to be really, really good at making games, but they want to excel at the way games are made. They want to excel at making the games as a process, instead of just having incredible output. Because you see, that's what the likes of BioWare pride themselves
magic.
on. Yeah, BioWare prided themselves on BioWare magic. This is all really, like, we've made this incredible stuff. How'd you make it? We all just sort of slept under the desk and went mental for like a year, but we made it.
Yeah.
But now these guys are like, no, we're going to do this properly.
What I think is perhaps showing a bit of commitment here, and this is what surprised me, because whenever I first saw this story, I just thought, it's a rebrand, who gives a shit? With an amazing new campus coming to Los Angeles and remote positions available. It's one of the things here in the EA blog. So they're building a new campus. Building a new campus is a multi-million dollar investment. They've put a humongous amount of change. So it's not that they're just taking the logo off the DICE LA office and putting the Ripple Effect logo on. No, they're actually building them a full new campus. Now that just says to me that they are going to be treating this not as a support studio, but as it's its own thing. In the same way that EA Motive is its own studio. And they say here they're working on a player-inspired experience for Battlefield 2042 and starting work on a yet-to-be-announced project. Certainly, if they want to get this team in players' good books, if that player-inspired experience really resonates with people, I mean, we don't know what it is. I've seen some rumors that it's basically like loads of the old maps and like old guns and stuff. I mean, look, if you're telling me that I can go into like Dragon Valley and Karkand, and all of those incredible Battlefield maps from the past, I mean, that's just going to really ingratiate them to core gamers. And given the experience of this team, which is, I mean, in the recent times anyway, like FPS related stuff, does seem to me like they're doing something trying to target the core gaming market, which is good, because basically that's where EA used to be pretty good, where we were getting Battlefield titles at like up till Battlefield 4, they were all pretty much universally great. Battlefield 1 was great with, one or two little quibbles, Battlefield 5 a bit more quibbles, and then, right at that time when that was starting to go downhill a bit, we saw EA's other properties also go downhill. We saw like, I mean, Medal of Honor Warfighter was 2012, right? And that's in and around when EA decided that it was time to run Mass Effect into the ground. I don't mean via Andromeda, everyone. I mean via, because you're not a Mass Effect guy, but I am. And basically your thing there is, one of the reasons why Mass Effect 3 was really not as good as it... I mean, I think Mass Effect 3 is basically a fucking miracle of a game for how it was made. Because I'm pretty sure they were just told, you got to turn that around like 18 months. I forget the exact numbers, but like the production cycle for Mass Effect 3 is absolutely insane. And it's all just that era of like, it's around 2012, and EA have decided that it's their time in the cycle to be the evil, terrible publisher and to ruin everything. And they very successfully did that. And I guess now this is maybe them trying to realize, oh wait, core market, turns out they want good games, so let's focus on that bit. I mean, I still don't trust EA because of what they do with FIFA Ultimate Team. And it's that thing, I wish, it's like anytime we put FIFA anywhere near a video, people don't click on it, even though it is super important to know what they're doing, like the FOMO tactics in that recent EA video that we did. So it's like, I still don't trust, like, EA, the big corporation, but at least, like, the people heading up the teams and the studios, like, in the core gaming space, they really do seem to know what's up.
Yeah, I think that's come at the back of years of PR hit after PR hit after PR hit, and I imagine that the fact that they're happy about FIFA Ultimate Team, they're I mean, everything points towards them going, okay, we know that works for that market. We need to reevaluate our strategy for the other market. And I think that's what it's boiled down to, which is really, it's hard to morally deal with because, you know, like they releasing Star Wars Squadrons, for example, and you're like, whoa, small game, no bullshit. That's awesome. That's fantastic. And then you look at, oh, well, you've also done all this shit. Do I really want to engage with you as a company? And that's kind of, I mean, that's a very moral dilemma for the modern age. But it's the kind of thing where it's, as long as we can draw the line in the sand as core gamers really, really sharp, and as soon as they try to tiptoe and try to set like one toe over the line of like, hey, would you like FIFA Ultimate Team mechanics? Maybe they're a nicer form, maybe it's just a little flavor, little like one grain of Ultimate Team into, you know, your battlefield or like
pitchforks. Where's my pitchfork?
Yep,
it's time to take it.
Yep, we did that successfully as a core gaming market with Battlefront 2, where it's just no, get out, don't do this, get away. We have none of this shit over here. So as long as we can continue to do that with EA, I think our little bubble that we've kind of created will be protected. But it's a kind of problem where, you know, well, it's not even a problem. It's sort of how it is.
Yeah.
And it's good. This bubble is looking great now.
Yeah, it is. And I think that the core takeaway here is we need to, whenever these companies do the good things, we need to be publicly supporting them doing the good things. And then when they do something bad, we need to show them that our previous public support is not a reason for them to just get away with shit. And as long as we actually just stick to principles and are clear about them, yeah, I mean, we'll do well enough. So I think this is overall pretty damn great news.
Yeah, being a consumer in the modern age is a little bit like being a parent or a dog owner, where, you know, you give them praise and they do the right thing, and then whenever they do the wrong thing, kind of go, nope, don't be at that now.
That's it.
Just have to keep doing that strong enough.
Bobby, you pissed on the floor again. Naughty boy. No. Right. Okay. There we go.
Good.
That's that. Good news. Let's hope they don't mess it up.